Welcome back to the 11 o'clock Waffle. It has been 1 week since the general election in Britain and the country has not yet fallen to its knees. Here with me to analyse the fallout of what the next 5 years under Tory rule could bring, I have three of this show's top stars. First up, representing the primary school teacher collective comes a guest looking for her third ever victory. It's Natalie Fowler.
Woo woo! Hello!
Welcome back.
It's a pleasure to be back.
So, third victory, is that a possibility today given the guest you're up against?
I don't mean to insult anyone, but I come to win. I'm in it to win it, that's it.
Hashtag big win.
I come to win. Oh dear.
Welcome to the show, Nat.
Thank you.
Next, stepping in as a last-minute super sub for the poorly Jennifer Roberts, comes a guest who, while seeing success on our specials, has struggled when it comes to the weekly grind of the Waffle. Will today see her luck change? Welcome back the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer of the show, Cathy Smedley.
Hello! No sooner have I left than I'm back again. Hello!
It's only this time last week you won.
Fighting my corner for the politics crowd, yeah.
That election turned out so well, didn't it?
I know, I feel so bad about it.
People going, well, I don't want them to get in, so I'm going to vote for them. And you're like, you've not really figured this out.
No, it went well. But hey ho, keep fighting the good fight, everyone.
Definitely. Welcome back. And lastly, our third guest returns to the series outside a special of the show for the first time since 2011. With Doctor Who moved to the autumn, how will he cope without a chance to answer Matt Smith, Russell T Davies or Michael Grade? Please welcome back Alex Kay.
Hello. Hello.
2011 was the last time you were on a regular episode.
Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it? You know,
Yeah.
I'm just a little bit.
I mean, in that time you've been off to Japan, I understand.
I've been to Japan. I've braved Edinburgh for my sins. Don't go there. Well, the thing is, if they get their independence, they're welcome to it. You know,
Okay, well, it sounds like it's going to be an exciting 40-ish, however long the show runs for. I mean, we don't know what Alex's answers have got after 4 years away. Oh, with the gang all here, let's crack on with question one. The UK general election has ended with the Conservatives seizing power for 5 more years, despite most of social media being against it. With cries that the first past the post voting system is outdated, what should be brought in to modernise our elections? Cathy?
Well, I had a long to think about this, and I've been obviously very sort of persistent on my aversion to our current situation, but I've had a couple of ideas. One of them would be voting online. For those of us that can't get outside, don't want to get outside, and generally don't really want to look at the sun, it would be a good idea to have a secure system where we could post our votes online. A lot like proxy or postal voting. That would be a good idea. Another thing I thought, which was quite a key thing that came up while I've been talking to voters after the polls have closed, is having a sort of politics for dummies situation. A lot of people don't know what they're voting for when they're voting for a particular party, so having an ability to understand what they're voting for would be a good idea.
Oh, that book's for me then. Thank you. I just tick the Green Party box and hope for the best.
Well done.
See, I heard a lot of people went in and they went, well, I don't really want SNP to go in with Labour, so I'll vote for the Conservatives.
Yeah.
And now we have a fascist in power. Now there's a fascist in power. Thank you so much, guys.
But was I the only one who looked at sort of Facebook and Twitter and the news the next day, and everybody was like, well, don't want the Conservatives in? You're like, well, how do they get in? Have they just been magicking votes up?
It felt like I'd woken up inside an Alan Moore comic. Everything was so bleak.
Okay, Alex, what have you got to modernise the election?
Well, my one was stolen. I was going to suggest online voting, so I'm going to have to very quickly change tack, some last-minute thinking here. And I'm going to this has already begun happening, but I think there should be more of it. Nick Clegg, Farage, and Boris Johnson all have radio phone-ins on LBC 97.3, in the London's radio station. I think all the leaders should not only have radio programs, radio slots, But there should be, and I know celebrities do quite a bit of this. I know Mark Miller, the comic writer, does this, and Tara Strong, the voice actress, does it occasionally. Where fans, I'm Polish, I don't have any fans, but people who are interested in learning about politics and policies of the individual parties should be allowed to talk to the politicians in question via social media. It's probably a death trap, but it is modern, and it's in keeping with, obviously how common social media is in our lives. And I'm sure there'll be lots of trolls and abuse, but I think it's fairly modern, fairly hip, fairly up to date. And I'm sure I've got this image now of Cameron walking into number 10 on his little iPhone, just being abused and shouted at by not just the press, but by the trolls, on all the online trolls. So double the abuse.
Okay, Nat, how would you modernise elections?
This isn't my answer, but can I just point out that isn't that online voting pretty much just the same as a postal vote, where you don't have to leave your house to vote?
But there's no screen.
There.
Yeah, but there's no screen.
Yeah, but it's pretty much the same principle.
But there's no screen, so it's not online.
I think you make a fair point. It is kind of the same, though there's less effort involved.
Then you risk somebody going, oh no, I've ticked the wrong box. Yeah, it'd be that thing where it's like, don't click back on your browser, don't do this, don't refresh the page.
Don't push refresh, or you're
don't
going to
get distracted by porn or cat memes, let's concentrate on the job in hand,
Yeah.
You could spoil the ballot more interestingly, though.
Anyway, my actual answer is that we should be like Australia, where it's made the law that you have to go and vote, so that way at least it's a true representation of actual people going to vote, rather than the people who just want to sit at home and look at their screens, not actually going out and bothering.
You do realise, though, that'll make us more like the Third Reich than we already are.
Oh, you don't want to start with me and my opinions on the Third Reich?
You're not Jewish by any chance, then?
No, I'm not. I wrote a wonderful dissertation on Hitler, though.
Oh, what a charming man. What a charmer. Dear old Adolf.
Okay, well, we should probably move on to question 2 now. Zayn and Lewis from One Direction have had a bit of a tiff on Twitter, bless them. What else is Twitter for than arguing with your former bandmates? So let's have then other examples of public fallouts via social media, and having touched on it earlier, Alex.
John Gaunt, I don't know if any of you people know him, John Gaunt, the ex-shock jock who used to work at Talk Sport, who got sacked for calling a counsellor a Nazi. He's had quite a few falling outs on Twitter lately, but the two that really amuse me is John Gaunt versus Al Murray and John Gaunt versus Dom Jolly. And it's just hilarious because those of you who know John Gaunt, and if you don't, I advise looking him up on YouTube because there are loads of clips of radio work he's done over the years. He is the most hard-assed, right-wing, he's UKIP. He's a right-wing, UKIP-supporting, traditionalist, a complete and utter pub-drinking, football-supporting hard man who has got absolutely no tax whatsoever. And he constantly falls out with these liberal comedians. And the Al Murray one, he's very cross with Al Murray for basically doing the pub landlord act in South Thanet because John Gaunt believes that took votes away from Nigel Farage. And as I say, Gaunty, as he likes to be known, John Gaunt, is a massive UKIP supporter. So he's been basically bullying and harassing Al Murray on Twitter because of that and giving him a bit of a hard time. So... And I never knew this. Apparently, Mr. Murray is Oxbridge educated, and really? John Gaunt is just using that as a stick to beat him, beating the living pulp out of him. And it's funny yet really disheartening to watch because I'm a bit of an Al Murray fan as well as a John Gaunt fan, so it is quite upsetting to watch. But as far as I'm concerned, John Gaunt can completely tear Dom Jolly a new one. I absolutely despise that man. I love Trigger Happy TV, don't get me wrong, I love Trigger Happy TV, but I absolutely detest Dom Jolly with a passion because he came out and basically pulled the class card and began victimising middle to upper class people for sending their kids to boarding school. And I'm not having that because I'm from Surrey, so sod him. Next.
Are you okay, Alex?
I'm going to mention a web sketch.
Mac, I'm a writer. I'm never okay. What are you talking about?
Okay, let's move on to Nat.
Mine isn't really an argument because I don't really like reading about arguments. So mine's a nice thing instead. Sorry to have changed the question. But since they've re-announced the X-Files revival, Gillian Anderson and David Duchovny have just had the most amazing Twitter chats online where she's all like, are you ready? And he's all, let's go, G-Woman. And then they post pictures of themselves back in the day and then comment on their clothes and their hair, and it's gorgeous. So yay, make love, not war.
Okay, Cathy.
Oh, I love that. I have to add to that the conversations that have been going on between Ed Sheeran and Taylor Swift. They are the best.
Oh my God, did you see the texts where they couldn't write? It was just adorable.
Oh, it was so sweet. But my answer for this, I have to say...
If Alex's answer's so dark, everybody's going to have to go lighter.
Come on, guys, do this properly. Come on. I mean, God, the Waffle wasn't like this back in the day. We had some confrontation, you know. Some guts, some grit. Come on, guys, you know.
I'll happily debate the X-Files with you, but I have no political views whatsoever.
Well, don't worry, neither do I. But still, I find the fact that John Gaunt wants to tear Dom Jolly a new one hilarious.
Yeah, but hilarity isn't really a debating point, is it?
Did you go to Oxbridge?
Okay, Cathy. No. Cathy, what is your example of a public fallout?
I have to say, it's very recent, but Charlotte Church and Katie Hopkins. I just like the quote that goes, once she can sing Ave Maria, she can take a pop at my arse. Because basically the story goes, Katie Hopkins has been having an issue with Mrs. Church's weight, and she's been slinging that around since she's been what's termed as a Prosecco socialist? Or a champagne socialist?
Champagne socialist, yeah.
Yeah, and Katie Hopkins hasn't been too happy about that. When is she ever?
And just as people of Britain, had you voted Labour and she would have left the country.
We wouldn't have had to listen to her drivel anymore. What have you done?
Of course, the next best thing is putting her down, which would be considered a mercy. So, yeah, I'm all for that.
Question 3 now, and inspired by March of the Waffle, the Muppets are making their own mockumentary. But what actual documentary should people be checking out? Nat?
Oh, you should watch Blackfish. It's just, like, devastating. All of my happiest childhood memories were built around SeaWorld, and then I watched Blackfish, and now I'm just, like, a broken shell of my former self. If that goes as a positive recommendation, then...
Is this the one about Shimu? Is it Shimu?
Yeah, the whale that keeps killing people because it's been so badly mistreated in its terrible life at SeaWorld. It's just tragic. And I feel awful for having been so happy when I was at SeaWorld.
Okay, so if you fancy a dark evening, what's it? Blackfish? Blackfish?
Indeed, Blackfish.
Okay. Cathy?
I've got a couple, actually. I don't know if it's the question, but I am a massive Radiohead fan, and therefore I would suggest everybody watches Meeting People is Easy, which is a look at their rise to fame at the point of OK Computer, which was in 1995, and it sort of just shows them getting to grips with being famous, going round. Obviously, Tom York's a very insular person, so it's kind of interesting to watch how he copes with it. Another one is Bowling for Columbine, which I suggest everybody watches before, you don't have your Netflix subscriptions anymore, but watch it, please.
Oh, that one's good. I've definitely watched that on my Netflix subscription.
Is it just me, though, or there's a bit where he interviews Charlton Heston? That bit's really weird because of how it, cuts back and forth.
It is a bit weird, yeah.
They clearly cut, a load out of it.
Yeah. Just turns up at Charlton Heston's house, gives him some abuse, and then...
goes away again.
Yeah. But now he's just harassing the elderly. Okay, Alex.
Any documentary by Alex Jones, not the presenter on the One Show, but Alex Jones, the conspiracy theorist / radio host from the United States. That man is a complete and utter nut job. He's a bully, he's a tyrant, he's bordering on a fascist, but he makes the most intense documentaries ever known to man. Such documentaries that explore the 9/11 being an inside job, and there are others, such as he believes the government are putting chemicals in the water, which they are, but he believes the chemicals in the water are causing shrimps to commit suicide. So this man is bonkers, and he's a tyrant, and if you want a good night's entertainment, or 20 minutes worth of entertainment rather, Type in Piers Morgan versus Alex Jones. And it is, if you want to see what it's like if the British and the Americans ever go to war, this is it. It is the most intense, awkward, funny interview known to man. It is brilliant. But yeah, any documentary by Alex Jones, because he's a complete and utter tyrannical nut job, but he's hilarious.
Okay, it's a very angry first round there from Alex.
Mac, you remember what I'm like. Come on, I'm a writer. I'm
It's been a few
frustrated.
years.
You know, I've got no girlfriend, no car, no job. Come on, this is what it's like for people like me, you know?
Well, let's move to the scores then. On 9 points at the back, it's Alex. I mean, admittedly, that's not helping your list of issues right now.
Mac, I'm going to kill you.
On 10 points, it's Nat. And just ahead in the lead at the minute on 12, it's Cathy.
Woo!
Okay, we come to our top threes now, where we quickly review the week's top showings in the world of movies, music and books. Currently number one in the UK box office is, of course, Avengers Age of Ultron. In the singles chart it is OMI with Cheerleader. Nope, no clue or what that is. Anybody heard that?
Never
Nope.
heard of any of it.
Really?
Oh, hang on. Actually, no, so it's another film I'm thinking of. There was this film released, I think, about a month or so ago called Gay Best Friend, and I thought that fell into the cheerleader category. But no, sorry, I think of the wrong thing.
I've definitely heard that song every day at work.
Oh, good grief.
I've got the best till last, guys. It's Amazon's number one book of the week. Top seller, The Dinosaur That Pooped a Planet.
Yes.
Nat, has that popped up in your school yet?
I don't know, we have a lot of stories about poo. I'm not sure I read that one yet. I'll have a look.
Yep, The Dinosaur That Pooped a Planet is apparently the number one selling book on Amazon.
Maybe I'll buy a copy.
That's nice.
I've heard it's a crap read.
Yeah.
Ha, 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 ha.
Don't give up the day job, Matt.
I won't. Okay, question 4 now. A motorist was fined after the council moved her car across the road onto double yellows in order to paint where her car had been parked. The council have since withdrawn the fine after realising how stupid they've been. So let's have other examples of the law failing to use common sense, and we'll start with Cathy.
I had a bit of trouble with this question, but I did find something bizarre. It's probably cultural differences, and I'm sorry if this sounds a bit off, but police chased a group of thieves in Nigeria and arrested them, including a man who they believed had been turned into a goat. So they arrested 4 blokes and a goat.
Nat and I did this at uni.
We did.
This was on Back to the Decades.
Woo!
This is insane!
Carry on, Cathy.
But that was the general story. That's all I could come up with for that question. But I was just like, how can you believe that?
It was brilliant. They accused the bank robber of turning into a goat and held the
Yeah.
goat in jail.
Fantastic. But I'm glad I've given you some reminiscing there.
I just like the idea of them keep doing the interrogation playing good cop, bad cop. He'll break. He'll turn back into a person, not a goat.
Good goat, bad goat.
Okay, Alex. The law failing to use common sense.
Does anyone here like dogs, can I ask? Is there any dog
Yeah.
lovers? Oh,
Yeah, right?
Oh, God. Okay, you might want to cover your ears for this one. I think it was about 2011 time. A dog was effectively arrested in Belfast. It was taken off. His name was Lennox, and he was taken off his owners because he was a breed of dog in Belfast that's deemed to be dangerous. So they took Lennox away from his family. They wrenched it away from a family which had a disabled daughter in it, by the way. Lennox was a present to the disabled daughter. The authorities took Lennox away. Then they locked him up. The family campaigned for a year or so to have the pooch released. However, by the time the case got to court and the verdict had been decided, the consensus was that because Lennox had spent a good year in, well, actually not a good year, a very bad year in prison, he was dubbed that he was going to be dangerous anyway. So really, the court case collapsed and Lennox was put down regardless of, whether he would have done something bad or not initially. So really, all they could have done is just, sent the dog away, done something a bit more humane. But no, they in the end ended up killing the dog when they could have done something else. You know, that was very nasty and inhumane. Bad authorities. The fascists have arrived.
Okay, so it's very dark, Alex. Alex, light.
Matt, you remember what I'm like? I am a writer. You know, come on. Undersexed, and overslept.
We're going to have to get you on Tinder with Dan Scholes as well.
Oh, good grief.
Okay, Nat.
Well, I was going to recap the goat as well, but I've thought of something else. That it's illegal to stop and collect an animal you've hit with your car because it's considered poaching. However, the person behind you can collect the animal.
Yeah, brilliant.
Roadkill.
The rule of roadkill.
Indeed.
Question 5 now, and Spooks the Greater Good sees the hit BBC series take to cinemas. But what other television show would our guests like to see take the step into cinemas? And let's get the obvious one out of the way, Alex.
No, actually.
No?
I'm sorry, but I actually don't think TV programmes should be on the cinema screen at all. I'm against this, because once a TV programme is a movie, it's therefore no longer a television programme, and its appeal is lost. So I'm afraid, no. And look at all the famous examples, you know.
The X-Files movie, which is pretty awesome. That went quite well.
I'm an X-Files fan, so I wouldn't know, you know, what that masterpiece of cinema is like.
I can assure you, it was a masterpiece of cinema.
I'm sure Orson Welles is turning in his grave, wishing he could have done such a great piece of work, you know. But no, I just don't think these things work. A television program is only a television program when on the television, really. And
that's philosophy now, isn't it?
Or
it doesn't stop becoming a television program just because it's shown within a different setting.
No, I make allowances on tablets and laptops, yeah, but the second you put it on a big screen with loads of people there watching it together, I therefore feel it stops becoming a television program because you lose the intimacy you'd have if you're watching in your own home amongst your family and your friends with, say, you could be watching it. Mom could be out back making fish fingers and peering in through the doorway every now and again. Your little brother could be on the floor shitting himself. And so therefore you've got this wonderful context of domesticity that, in my humble opinion, makes a television program a television program. What makes a movie is when it's in the cinema and the lights are off. You've got people knocking off in the stalls, getting into their popcorn, all that rubbish. And it's an event. You know, TV is all about intimacy and connecting.
But you can build that same intimacy in the cinema. I've more than once been to the cinema where something like maddeningly hilarious happened, and you can hear everyone around you chuckling, and you know you're like with a brethren, you're with your kind, or you're crying, and you're not the only one sobbing. And actually, you build that intimacy with a room full of strangers sharing this moment. Just because it's on a bigger screen with a wider audience doesn't make it any less intimate.
No, I think it does, personally, because it becomes an event. It becomes a giant event you've got to actually leave the house for and take your wallet and make sure you had a pee, you know, beforehand. No.
Okay, guys, we're in danger of turning into question time here.
Sorry, Matt, we're a bit busy here. We're having a debate.
I'm sorry, I can't accept it. TV shows should not be movies. That's my stance on it. So, nah, no.
But what about when you bring a DVD home and watch it at home? Surely that's just the same as watching a TV show then, because you're at home in an intimate setting.
Yeah, but these things were originally meant to be on the cinema screen, so you're taking it out of its original context.
What about Doctor Who? That went to the cinema with Day of the Doctor and...
Yeah, and believe it or not, I'm not actually pleased about that. I think it should have just been on the
television. That was an excellent movie. Paul McGann did a fabulous job as the Doctor.
That was a TV movie on the television. That was a TV movie on the television, not on the cinema.
Movie, which was the question. It wasn't defined within the cinema. It was
it was made for the television. It was a made-for-television movie.
So that doesn't just disvalue.
No, the sort of movies I'm talking about are for the cinema screen. You know, and I by the way, I do disagree. I don't like films going on DVDs. For me, films are one-offs, and that's it. You go in, it's like a one-night stand. You go in there and you get out again, and you never think of it again.
Well, then that's probably why you're single.
Oh, thanks, thank you. You can't take off of that. Personal insults will not be tolerated.
That wasn't an insult.
It's an insult.
Oh, well, I apologise profusely.
Oh, there you go. Thank you. Thank you very much indeed.
Okay. Does anybody want to answer this question?
I would like to say that I would like to see the X-Files movie 3. That would be a fabulous cinema event for myself.
Okay, and Cathy.
I'm going to subvert the cause now, change it a little bit, but go with me here. Just imagine, if you will, going to the cinema one day, you settle down, have your popcorn, and then suddenly a massive cake appears on the screen. You are there to see The Great British Bake Off, the movie.
That sounds good.
That sounds terrible.
In 3D.
I just want to see, explosions going off behind Mary Berry as she measures cakes and tastes jam.
Okay, well, after that very intense fifth question, let's move on to question 6. Spanish football is currently suspended just a few games shy of the end of the season. However, in the last few hours, they've actually agreed that the season can carry on, making this question pretty much dated before we've actually recorded it. Anyway, going on with it, let's discuss other times where something's been cancelled at a rather silly place. And we'll go to Cathy.
I couldn't find anything exciting, like literally the question, but I did find one that made me laugh, which was at a train station in Bournemouth, just the people waiting for their train. An announcement came over the tannoy, which was, so please, can customers please be aware that the train will not be stopping at the platform as the train is on fire. And therefore, all trains all customers to the service, please note the train has been cancelled.
Fantastic.
I thought that was, how long has the train been on fire? When were you going to tell everyone? But yeah, that's my answer. That and Aquila, but that wasn't really BBC's fault.
I like your idea that the train was cancelled at a silly time. Like, the fact it was on fire wasn't the issue there, it was the time it was cancelled.
The train's on fire. We're going to wait till it gets to about Plymouth, and then we'll just decide to tell everyone.
Okay, Nat.
What I find is when they cancel TV shows, like when they've not finished filming it, or when they have finished filming it. For example, when they got rid of Pushing Daisies, they finished filming it, and then they cancelled it, and then they tacked on a 1 minute, oh, by the way, we've wrapped up every problem ever in this 1 minute summary, bam. And I feel like that's just kind of selling themselves short. So they should finish filming things before cancelling them.
Same with Firefly.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking as well.
Oh, Pushing Daisies was good. I liked Pushing Daisies.
Fabulous. We were robbed. Let's turn it into a film.
No, look what happened with Firefly.
Oh, Lee Pace is in everything now. He was in The Hobbit, he's in Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, who's his agent? How did he go from doing Pushing Daisies to Guardians of the Galaxy and, The Hobbit? It's insane. Alex.
I actually can't think of one for this. I'm sorry, I've drawn a complete blank. It must be the Alzheimer's. I genuinely have no idea what to... I have to pass. I've never encountered anything like this before.
Alex, you could go Doctor Who 1989.
Yeah, but I thought you weren't looking for Who answers.
Well, no, you can still answer it. I mean,
Okay,
given you didn't answer the last question, you should probably go for points.
Inconvenient. I mean, what was more inconvenient, you could argue, was not the 89 cancellation, but the 85 cancellation when it was put on hold for about 18 months. Because some idiot called Michael Grade, I said his name, note that down, Mac, I said his name, some complete fool, I can't believe he's related to Great Lou, but that's by the by, some douchebag called Michael Grade decided to axe the series. And this was just as they were getting all the scripts together for the upcoming season. And they had some great stories planned. They even had a plan to film one episode in Singapore, of all places, So it's insane, I mean, he's a complete idiot, that Michael Grade. I mean, didn't he go and work for Waitrose or something for a while? He was on the board of Ocado or something nonsense like that. Okay, I'm the only guy who knows that trivia. Fair enough. It's another night. That's why I'd have a girlfriend, by the way, because I look at trivia like that. Clearly, Doctor Who trivia doesn't impress the chicks. It's clearly bad, This is terrible.
Yeah,
What's coming to the world?
That brings us to the end of the second round, and it's time for the scores. That's back on a 15 after refusing to answer a question. I think that's the first time anyone's refused to answer a question. It's Alex on 15. On 23 points, it's Nat.
Woo!
And 26, it's Cathy.
Woo! Yay!
Okay, it's question 7 now, and James McAvoy has shaved his head for his role as Professor X in next year's X-Men movie, X-Men Apocalypse. So let's celebrate great boldies, and we'll start with Nat.
Bruce Willis and Britney Spears. Yay. That's it. I just love them. I don't really love Brittany, but she's just hilarious.
Well done, well done.
Whenever my TA has a bad day, I used to print out a picture of Brittany bored, and I'd write on it, if Brittany could get through 2007, you can get through today. We have it on our wall in our classroom.
Bonus point for that. Okay, Alex.
The Hood from Thunderbirds.
Brilliant answer.
The Hood from Thunderbirds, the most evil Baldy in the galaxy.
Is he still bald in the remake they've done?
He is. Thankfully, he has still got no hair whatsoever. He's a right slaphead. It's great.
I'm still miffed that Jeff Tracy's gone.
You know what? I could talk for hours about the Thunderbirds old and new because I'm a massive fan, but it actually, dare I say it, works quite well without him because
Really?
he's in the episodes, Matt. Have you seen any of the episodes?
No, I've not got around to
Dude,
it.
check it out. Check it out. Look, quick story. When I heard about this Thunderbirds remake, I was the most cynical man in the universe, more so than usual, but I was very doubtful and skeptical about it. Within the first 10 seconds, I kid you not, of watching the remake, I was grinning like I was 6 years old again. Dude, it is absolutely amazing. I'm not saying it's perfect. There are little niggly bits that I have issues with, but overall, it's a very well put together series. And the good thing about having Jeff out the picture is that the boys are forced to make their own decisions, and there's little flashes of conflict and tension between them, which you never really got in the older one, because obviously Dad was the man in control. Jeff was the guy with the plan, man with the plan, the cigar smoking. I love it when a plan comes together. But in this new one, it is great to see the boys having to think on their feet, because they're impulsive young Americans. So, so I'm something happening in the next 22 minutes, basically. But no, it's great, man. Check it out. Check it out. There's my plug.
Good
I
stuff.
did feel sorry for the guy in the spaceship who, just called upon whenever they needed
Oh,
him.
that's John. Now you see, but in this new one, John is actually a very integral character, and he has more to do in the first 6 episodes of the remake than he did in all the episodes of the older one. So he really gets. And the one coming up this weekend, I don't know when this is going out, but the one coming up this Saturday the 17th, I believe it will be, it features John and Thunderbird 5 very heavily, so I'm told. So now keep your eyes peeled.
Okay, and Cathy, big boldies.
My favourite bold person is Ainsley Harriott. It always will be, because he taught me how to cook. Not literally, but I used to watch Can't Cook, Won't Cook, and the other one that he did, and he's my favourite.
Ainsley Harriott is a good answer.
No,
Did he actually teach you how to cook, or did you just learn from watching the telly?
He didn't come round to my house and go, this is a pot, small Cathy, and this is a pan, small Cathy. No, I watched a lot of Can't Cook, Won't Cook, and I learned a bit from that.
If you want to watch something good, watch Can't Smeg, Won't Smeg, which was the spin-off where they did Red Dwarf. And on that, they swapped. Ainsley Harriott was obviously cooking his dish up, and they're cooking theirs. And then Kat and Lister swapped their saucepan, which was utterly destroyed, with Ainsley Harriott's. And Ainsley Harriott didn't notice, and Ainsley Harriott went over and started tasting their food. It was like, yeah, that's really good. There's some good flavours in that. And then about 10 minutes later, realised they'd switched the patterns.
I do have a full night's recording of Red Dwarf Night from 98 or something. It's got him.
Okay, question 8 now, and a South Wales bus company has decided to withdraw its advertising campaign featuring a semi-naked woman holding a sign saying, "Riding all day for £3." I mean, South Wales, I'm surprised that wasn't in Essex now.
It does link quite nicely into my answer, actually.
Really? Well, let's go to Worst Cases of Advertising by Natalie Fowler.
Our local Conservative MP during the election made a whole load of leaflets that were labelled "It's Erection Day," and then when we went to vote, he was standing outside the voting poll, and I turned to Sean and I was like, "Sean, that's the erection man! That's the erection man!" And I didn't look too pleased.
Oh, you have one job, and that is get the spelling right on your advertising campaign.
I know.
Okay, Cathy next.
Mine isn't strictly advertising, it's more the product it was advertising. And those of us who liked watching Saturday morning cartoons when we were little could not forget nor fail to see the doll that I think was called Baby Wee Wee.
I had one of those!
I'm sorry.
What is it?
Don't tell me you need.
I don't know if you could get girl versions, and I really hope you can't. But it was the boy version that went to the loo. But no, I remember the advert quite clearly, and if you don't watch it. Fine. Now I'm going to cleanse my mind of that memory.
Okay, Alex.
There's an advert doing the rounds recently, which I'm surprised hasn't got the feminist brigade up in arms. It's on buses, and there are two versions. There's one with a man with his shirt off. There's another with a girl. And then both these pictures, they're both separate pictures on alternate buses. Both characters, both actors, models, we'll call them what you want, sucking on straws that lead into drinks. And the caption reads, Aussies suck. So not only is it sexually objectifying males and females, it's also racist as well.
Yeah, I've seen this around. I'm not really sure.
I was very surprised that, what is it, the ASA, the Advertising Standards Association, let this pass. For goodness sake, this is a double whammy. In today's politically correct society, it should be clamped down and taken off, and the production companies behind these taken to task. I mean, come on, get with it, red tape, come on. The ASA is slipping. Disgraceful. Bring back the cane. Right, what next?
Well, next we come to our final round, where our guests will present a news headline followed by a 20-second summary of the story. The story will either be true and something from the past week's news, or purely fictional. So Nat, as you're in the lead, you get to pick the running order.
Okay, I would like to go first, then followed by Alex, bringing up Cathy in rear.
Okay, so
that sounds nice.
Okay, so Nat, what is your headline and story?
My headline is about a new humanitarian group called Terror Save, because terror doesn't always have to end in wrist. Nice. And basically they go into bad places and save people, unlike terrorists. So they're giving terror a good name.
Okay, and Alex, headline and story, please.
My headline is Pan is Back, and it summarises a new Peter Pan television series made using CGI and starring Michelle Creeber, a very well-known actress, playing Wendy Darling.
Okay, and Cathy.
Mine is Welcome to Snail Mail. In an attempt to be more approachable, there is a small delivery firm in the States that has taken to rebranding themselves as Snail Mail Trailers. In an attempt to make kids feel like they want to be more part of the postal service, they've been branding themselves with like pictures of cartoon snails and things. It's quite cute.
Okay, so we have Terror Save, Pan is Back, and Snail Mail. So Alex, which of those do you think is true or false?
I think the terror wrist one is false, because that's just too cheesy to be true, I'm sorry. And in today's PC brigade, someone would have kicked up a stink about it. The Snail Mail one is the state, so I can believe it. Yeah, I can believe that.
Okay, Cathy?
I would love for Nats to be true, I really would, and I hope it is, but I don't think it is. And I'm going to go that I think Alex might have an inkling of truth to it, but I don't know what channel it would be on.
So you're saying true for both?
False for Nats and true for Alex's.
Okay, and Nat?
I'm going to go for true for both. I want to believe.
Good use of the plot line there.
Thank you very much.
Nice and succinct. No buggering around. Just, yep, we're both right. Thank you. I wish people would say that to me more often. You're right,
Okay, so Nat, Terror Save, is that an anti-terrorist group?
That is, in fact, the plotline to Resident Evil Revelations 2. I'm afraid it's false.
Yay!
Okay, so a point each to Cathy and Alex there. Pan is Back. Is this happening, Alex?
It is indeed happening, yeah.
Yay!
Starring Michelle Creeber, very good actress known for her work on My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, playing Wendy Darling.
Okay, and Snail Mail. Is this happening? Is this true?
No, but I really want to make it happen now that I've thought of it. It's the single best thing. I just want to see red, Royal Mail vans going around with happy snails on them.
So it's false. So Cathy has tricked everyone.
Oh.
Right at the end there. So how big could that be? On 30 points, it's Alex. On 34 and going home as the runner-up this week, Nat hits the post because of Cathy's lies about snail mail. Cathy is the winner on 37.
What? I achieved the impossible. Awesome.
Wow, it was a very interesting show there, guys.
Matt, before you wrap up, can I just get a cheeky plug in?
Certainly.
It's not dirty, don't worry.
Far away.
If anybody out there wants to hear more of this cynical old bastard pontificating away, feel free to check out my and my friend's podcast, Newsflash with Paul and Alex. Basically, it's me and my best friend Paul ranting and raving about the issues in the news, and we release them on an ad hoc basis. That's Newsflash with Paul and Alex. So thank you for that, Matt. I mean, you got in contact with me because you were tagged in, weren't you, into one of the videos? Yeah.
I'd also like to have a little plug-in for myself, just because I'm generally awesome, so if you don't already like me, you should now.
Cathy, are you on Twitter?
I have nothing whatsoever to offer.
That's not true.
My plug-in is read and watch more Waffle, and listen to more Waffle. Do everything revolving around the waffle, and eat more waffles as well.
Eat waffle, folks.
But not blue waffles.
No. Okay, well, that brings us to the end of this week's show. Thank you to Alex K for coming out of semi-retirement.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you to Natalie Fowler.
No worries, anytime.
And, of course, this week's winner, Cathy Smedley.
Not a problem.
We shall be back in a fortnight's time, probably, due to my dad's retirement party next week. But it'll be awesome, and hopefully we'll have the Duncan back.
Matt, remember, there's a machine in every pub, so have a good night, son. Have a good night.
I will. And on that bombshell, thank you and goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.